Hey, Abbott. Just saw your lovely little video about how it's unconstitutional to raise the age to 21 with signs behind you saying parents matter. What parents are you referring to exactly? Because it's not us here in Uvalde. I spoke to you face to face and you said you wouldn't even try. So obviously we don't matter to you. I asked you if you could name the victims. You couldn't. You said not off the top of your head. Hell, you couldn't even name my son. His name is Uzziah. Don't sit there and act like you are for the people. You're our governor and you should be, but you're not. All you give a damn about is making money. You see, that piece of shit that murdered our children legally bought that damn gun. Legally. You could do something about it. You're just too shit to do it. So don't sit there and act like you're for the people, that you're for the parents, that you're for the children, because you don't give a damn. But I implore you, make a liar out of me. Call a special session.
That's Brett Cross. He's the father of one of the murdered children down in Uvalde at Robb Elementary School. And he's calling out his governor, who has been called out a lot recently, Greg Abbott, to be fair, but he continues to say things like this in response. And by the way, the problem here, in case you didn't point out there through his tirade, which is very well justified, was how about we raise that age for 18-year-olds buying these types of guns? And honestly, I think that's not enough, but that's just me because I'm crazy. But this is what Abbott had to say as far as what he can do when it comes to doing that one small gesture. Let's watch.
Very much. There have been 3 court rulings since May that have made it clear that it is unconstitutional to ban someone between the ages of 18 and 20 from being able to buy an AR. That came out of the Federal Court of Appeals, and then there was a Supreme Court decision that was in line that upheld it, and then after that, most recently, a federal court in the state of Texas struck down the Texas law that banned people between the ages of 18 and 20 for buying a handgun. So it is clear that the gun control law that they are seeking in Uvalde, as much as they may want it, it has already been ruled to be unconstitutional.
It's totally out of my hands. I can't do anything. It's been totally ruled unconstitutional. So all you grieving parents and families and the future ones, because there'll be more, F you. Can't do anything about it. In fact, I don't care to do anything about it. Families outside of even Brett Cross's did join him, and they also protested in front of the governor's mansion to let him know that they're still there and they still care, as much as he probably assumes they'll forget about it. It's only been a couple of months. Yeah, they forgot about their children. So Kaylee Hunt did point this out. She said the families, along with activists for March for Our Lives, they set up a sound installation outside of the mansion and shared the quote joyful sounds of their family members before they were lost at that school shooting back in May. Let's watch a video from their protests out there.
Because you do not give a damn!
Boys and girls, this is Miss Mireles.
You care more about our guns than you do our children!
I miss y'all so much, and I hope to communicate with y'all pretty soon on Google Classroom.
You couldn't even tell us their damn names!
They're also big Donnies.
I asked you!
And you make
You said you couldn't say it off the top of your head! We remember them! And we are gonna make damn well sure that you do too!
It takes 1, 2 years for a.
They're that upset because Jackson, one last part, let's jump to graphic 7, you guys. As Governor Abbott said, there's nothing he can do. It's totally unconstitutional. I'm just the governor of a major state in this country. In March of 2018, then Governor Rick Scott signed into law a piece of legislation that, among other things, raised the age at which individuals could legally buy firearms in the state to 21. The very subject that we're talking about, the very thing that Greg Abbott says he can't do, which also he said a couple days after this school shooting when he went to the NRA event, or at least he submitted his video speech to the NRA event and said, sorry guys, there's nothing I could do. What are your thoughts, bro?
Well, whenever conservative arguments don't land, then they reverse back to the principle of the matter. But the reality is that if your principle, results in people dying or any type of negativity within the real world, then there's a chance that you need to take a look at your principles. But of course, they don't care about that. It's just smoke and mirrors for corruption and keeping power in the hands of the few for whatever that special interest may be. But that guy was absolutely 100% right. Greg Abbott, he's just a career man, and the fact, I mean, think about that too. Like, for him to have known that the parents would be around him, trying to reach out to him, speak to him, attack him even, whatever, for him to not even prepare to know any of their names and to say, well, I can't really call them off. It just shows the depth of, or rather how hollow the institutions there really are, and him running it. So, it's really unfortunate to see. But, again, like you pointed out, the guy who committed that heinous crime, he bought that weapon legally, and Rick Scott raised the age just a couple of years ago. So their principle is just a bunch of lies.
If you don't think the gun lobby and the gun industry knows how much more money they would lose if that 3-year gap from 18 to 21 is cut off or changed, if you think they don't realize it and that they want to keep it coming, you are crazy. They absolutely realize it. They study these things. They looking back from cigarette studies from the tobacco industry about how they want to make sure they're grooming this next level of smokers so they can make that money. The whole point of these multi-billion-dollar corporations and industries is to keep it coming. That's how capitalism works. That thing that we are all about. It's there to exploit other folks and siphon and get as much money as possible, generate as much money regardless of lives. Keep that real.